live. We are now live on Instagram and live on Facebook simultaneously. Hi there from Just Be. Hello, community. Hello, dear friends and family. We're very happy to be here today to welcome our speaker, Nellie Parsons, today for a channeled, a beautiful topic that we have decided to expose to you today. Resistance or flow. So I'm honored to have Nellie today to express her impressions, her guidance to the community in this beautiful topic of today. So I can see a lot of highs. I'm saying hi to everyone. Thank you for joining the live. We will try to interact with you, so don't hesitate to ask questions whenever you feel like, and we'll be honored to assist in whatever way. And if we don't do it simultaneously during the live, we'll be able to attend it straight away after this live. So, hi there, Nellie.
Hello everyone.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, it's really very interesting when we start doing this work of healing, improving ourselves. We get so humbled that when it comes time to present myself, I don't really know what exactly is going to come across without, being too boastful about myself, because at the end of the day, the main point here is to serve. And the way I would describe myself right now at this place in time is that I fully arrived at the time and place in my life when I'm ready to serve. And the word light worker is quite appropriate right now. I couldn't understand it before, but now I do understand what exactly that means. Because in the work I do, I provide clarity. I would like to shed the light onto a certain issue and help the person, assist them into finding clarity in their life and the problems they have. Of course, if I say I'm a healer, this is not really quite correct, because I don't heal anyone. I just provide the space and the energies that will assist the person to improve themselves, because at the end of the day, people heal themselves by showing up and willing to do the work. And I'm there to assist, help, hold space, and be there for them. Of course, there are lots of modalities I do this with, but the most important thing is that I'm there sitting with this person and helping them go through the process themselves. So I would say, yes, light workers serving human beings so they can become better themselves.
What brought you to this? I mean, tell us more a bit about you as a person before becoming the professional that you are in this field.
Well, it's a long path, and it's always been there. It doesn't start actually in this present lifetime. It started on the first life, in the first incarnation I had on Earth. I do remember that very well, because that incarnation is something that I kept remembering ever since I was a little girl. So in that first incarnation, I came as a healer, and it was a very interesting incarnation where I was supposed to heal, uplift, but obviously coming here in 3D reality, there are always surprises, and I got caught into the cycle of Earth because obviously things went wrong in the 3D existence, and I got into the cycle. All the lives afterwards were basically following similar line, but then there was some more karmic entanglements. And coming to this incarnation right now, obviously, I'm somehow completing a cycle, completing that very cycle, but the main thing remains, obviously, healing, helping people heal, and helping humanity bring itself into a better place. In this life, obviously, I lived a life. I did lots of music, lots of performing, but what I'm doing right now had been always there in the back burner. Because having my experiences in music, in study, my real gifts and my real abilities had to step back. But that gave me a chance to experience life, to experience hardship, and understand what exactly I'm going to help people with. Had I had a very happy life and everything provided for, I would not have the understanding of what exactly suffering is, what exactly problem is. You know, if one has it all, why would one need to go and improve anything? It's not going to happen. So this life experience has provided me with the understanding, the depth of understanding of what people experience right here, right now, at this time. Um, there are lots of amazing things about this incarnation of mine right now, and I'm just amazed at the times we live in and how much is happening and how much humanity is progressing. For the past 100 years, the improvement is immense, the development, the progress, what we did as spirits is just enormous. And I'm happy to be in 3D experiencing it from that vantage point. Um, the real urge to actually do something about it was about 5 years ago when I had enough of my performing experiences. I filled myself in with that. And it was about time. Of course, there was a lot of doubt if I'm going to be good enough, if I'm going to be really helping people. But I was helped and encouraged, and slowly I started learning different modalities, understanding. But there was a lot more inside me which was dormant, and started slowly opening up. For the past 5 years, apart from learning different modalities, which are obviously the tools with which I can help people, I happen to heal myself and understand the process. And here we are today, ready to serve.
Thank you for this beautiful testimonial. From the little that I know of Nellie, it's incredible because it's been a few months now. And
Right.
from the first moment I met this lady, I just felt like deja vu. Like, I know this lady. I mean, it's so familiar. It's incredible. And the state of flow that happened, I will always remember that first moment. When I met you, it was just incredible. And I have goosebumps as I tell you this because really I'm feeling honored and really gifted for being what I am and doing what I do to meet incredible, incredible souls that I meet every single moment I do this work at all levels, and meeting those sisters and brothers of the heart doing the same work, wanting to be of service, with a work in progress, open heart, because that's something that we're all diligently working on. So having said that, Nellie, we are living a crucial time right now.
Yes, we do.
We're all being tested, left, right, and center.
That's right? Very, very true.
How was it for you? How was it like the first question? And how was it for you as a person, as the human 3D, and then as the professional that you are, and overall? And what was your learning, the biggest learning?
The first reaction was obviously, I do remember very well the day when I went into office because obviously I do lots of other things and I had scheduled a week and a meeting and I went there ready to, start my day, only to be told, no, you can't do that. And because I'm a very well organized person and I plan my day, and all of a sudden somebody's telling me that I cannot do what I plan to do, it was just like, changed my mood completely. I was not very happy at all. Of course, I was very resentful. Angry is a big word, but yes, there was a bit of that. How come my plans are being disturbed? I have work to do. I have things to do, and this cannot be. Yeah, exactly.
Who's doing that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wasn't anyone in particular, but just why did that happen? I had basically 3 days to get over it. And except it's what it is, exactly. I was very much against working online, of course, because the work I do, I also teach, and my work is one-on-one. So basically, what I do with the healing modalities is similar to what I do with my other line of work, which is teaching, and is also one-on-one. So there is no difference for me if I do healing or teaching one-on-one. It's very much the same process. So for me, connecting with the person live, feeling their energy, and giving them what they need right there and then was very important to connect with the person. And then all of a sudden, I have to do that online, and it felt as somebody had tied all my senses. That's what I thought, and that's what I felt. Um, Obviously, we had to find the correct platforms, if they're going to work. It was a lot of logistics as well. And then, on top of everything, was actually fear, which is completely normal fear because I could see and smell viruses and germs everywhere I turned. And I was horrified. And the frustration of having my hands tied to do the work I would like to do, as well as the fear of the unknown enemy, the disease, virus, whatever that is, we are protecting ourselves from. It was just like you don't know where it's going to come from. So getting out of the house was just like a challenge because you go with masks, with gloves, and it's just like, oh, I shouldn't touch this, I shouldn't touch that. And it's paralyzing. It's really, really paralyzing. So the first couple of weeks were really very frustrating and very unsettling. Obviously, we had a bit of a health issue with my husband, which I attended to, and I'm actually glad that kept me busy because if I did not have to look after him and help him through this time, I would have had more time to feel sorry for myself and very frustrated. And this way, I had to look after him, so that kept me occupied. But there were layers of feelings and fear just coming over me all the time. And obviously the lockdown, the fact that we couldn't go out and our physical bodies needed to move, but we couldn't do much except, go from one room to another. Yeah, it was all coming over. It was quite a lot, yes, I must say.
And what did you learn from the experience as you were going along and still going on?
Well, yes, it's still going on. Well, that's really, really interesting because that process didn't really start there and then. Now, one of the things that is I don't know if it's unique about me, but I'm an intuitive channel, and I tune into probable futures, and it's usually the immediate future that is going to come. So in December, I did go through a modality through which I got certified, and throughout the process of learning this modality, I've got tuned into what's coming. And usually, when I look into the psychic eye in future, for the next 6 months, I can see what is happening. And every time I was looking into the immediate future, 3 to 6 months, I couldn't see anything. I just couldn't see it because I used to plan. I'm misplanning because this way I create the reality, my reality. I was supposed to book holidays, I was supposed to book many things, but there was a moment where, apart from fixing the dates, I couldn't see anything else. It was just like, there was like a curtain, and I couldn't see what was happening. Then there was an angel card that came, which basically did explain that there are going to be changes, but it was written like changes personally for me. And when I read this same information 2 months ago, it was just like, wow, I had been just warned that what I see or what I couldn't see is exactly this. And all this started making sense. There were lots of things in my day-to-day life prior to the lockdown I resented and I did not enjoy. And I was always going out of the house thinking, I wish I don't have to do this. I wish I don't have to do that. And 2 months later, lockdown comes, and I don't have to do any of the things I said. I wish I don't have to do this. I wish I don't need to sit in traffic. I wish I don't have to travel to work half an hour and back, because this is an hour I can serve somebody, I can teach somebody, I can help somebody.
Be careful what you think of. You might manifest. The universe is at your service.
So 2 months later, I said, oh, so as and it was given. So why am I not happy then? Um, that was interesting, yes. So, and when I realized that what I asked for was given, I said, so why am I protesting then? So I had to really keep quiet and say, well, I asked for it. I didn't want to be in traffic. I didn't want to travel. Okay, so now I can meet the people online and I don't like it. So I requested it. So I better just get to work with it. Yeah, so lockdown came. And at first, obviously, having connected to the people I work with in the physical presence, it was challenging to make the same connection online. But after a couple of weeks, all my abilities of what I am as a healing professional, as a light worker, started becoming a lot more sensitive, a lot more astute. I could feel the person and receive information about the person and connect with the person long before the Zoom call started. It's not like I have not done it before, I did, but it wasn't deliberate. I didn't have to. I did it only when I wanted to, and I didn't have to exercise it as often. But now if I have 6 meetings online a day, and I have to do it 6 times a day, it's already becoming a habit to do on and on and on. And if before it was taking me about 10 minutes to 15 minutes and it felt like sharp difference, okay, I'm here and I'm connecting and I'm here, if I have to, graphically explain. And I could feel the energy difference. But after a month or two of doing that, I couldn't see any difference anymore. It just became so much of a reflex that I connect automatically. And it didn't feel like, okay, this is very different. I'm just connecting to that person. I feel permanently connected. So how did I find out that? Well, in a very interesting way. In the middle of a big lockdown where we needed to have a permission to go and shop at the supermarket, I couldn't do it just delivery online, ordering home. So I had to go at some supermarket. And because I was so open and so connected, I picked up all the fear, vibration, frustration of the people without realizing that I'm just taking it. By the time I went home, I was gone completely ballistic. I could just I was shouting, I was desperate. It felt like the world is going to end because I felt all this energy of the people that feel exactly the same. And I took it over me and I said, what's going on? Why am I reacting like that? I mean, yes, I was afraid, but I wasn't that afraid. And all of a sudden, and it took me just an hour of reflection to realize, well, this is not mine. I just connected with these people. How did I do it so quickly? How did that happen before I have to make it deliberate? I have to put the intent. I have to put basically the meditation, the connection. It was just like hard work. And now it's just like instant. So what I asked for not only was delivered, but actually helped me attune my abilities, perfect them in a way, or make it faster. So I feel more ready now and today to do the work I wanted to do all the time. I was shy obviously in the beginning because naturally I doubted myself. I wanted to make sure that I could really serve and I can have a lot of tools in my basket to help people, and I have to acquire a lot of modalities. I have to tune, heal myself, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that was an interesting experience to realize all that. I have to also say that there was a period, a long, long time, when I felt completely numb. Like I couldn't make sense with my mind what is going on. It's like a cycle where I felt like I'm sleepwalking. And the routine was the same. Wake up in the morning, get on with the day, connect online, but it felt like a dreamlike state. And sometimes I had to ask myself, is this really happening? Is it really for real? Am I really working? Did I just do what I did? Is it effective? Am I having an impact with the work I do?
Am I asleep or awake?
Yeah, exactly. It felt
just
like
a dream?
It's like sleep state and daytime state. It's just like they were just one, and there was no difference between them. And I had to question the reality. Is it for real? Am I in 3D? Am I in 5D? Because they felt the same at some point, to be honest. Because if I have to connect online with somebody, because I did both, I did teaching and I did healing online, it was, if I'm doing it, but because I did not have the physical proof, my mind was questioning it. Are you sure you did what you said you did? And it's very, very bizarre. Very bizarre.
It's a beautiful demonstration of the illusionary world that we all live in.
Yes,
right?
and as a result, I have, because in the last modality I did, when I did the practitioner's course, it was a big emphasis, there was a big emphasis put on the fact that we have to let our mind step out of the picture. Because when we have to open space for the healing energies, because my last modality was angelic Reiki, which is an amazing modality. That made a big difference for me. So our mind has to step back, not interfere, so we can open space for all the angelic kingdom to come and do the healing. So we open space. And I had to make a lot of efforts to quiet my mind and keep my mind busy with something else while work is being done. But during that lockdown, I could actually control the mind a lot better. And that was just like, okay, so I was clearly aware what is my mind and what is not, which I wasn't quite sure before. Because I always thought it was, oh, it's me. No, it's not me. And I realized now when it's me and when it's not me.
Which is a beautiful realization, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
to be able to find out what is this true voice within you that is meant to be heard versus that voice that is just makes a lot of noise and distractions.
This is why now when I have to introduce myself, I have to think twice what I'm saying, because I have to remind myself, well, me doesn't really do much except deliver the words and finding the right vocabulary to express, well, what actually is going on. But apart from that, what else is me doing? Just just keep quiet, keep humble, stay in the corner, and leave the space for the energies to do the work and do what is supposed to be done. And yeah, it's amazing, amazing abilities. And I connected with a healing colleague, a light worker as well. We had a lovely chat, and he was able to even point out to me where this comes from. And apparently, I had lived a life where I was a scientist, and anything that I was coming up with, I had to prove it scientifically on the 3D physical world. How is that scientific if you don't have the proof? Proof, show me. Give me the proof, show me. So once I'm in this incarnation and I am going into this different dimensions and energy world, my mind is still, where's the proof? Prove it. You should prove it. How do I prove it? Prove there is electricity. Okay, the only way I can prove about the electricity is that this light is on. But there is no other way, because if you touch the cable to see where the electricity is, it might kill you. So it's really, really interesting. But it gives me a lot of love as well. Yeah, it was an interesting time.
The physics of today is the metaphysics of yesterday, and the metaphysics of today is the physics of tomorrow.
Correct.
So
Correct.
sometimes there is a little bit of adjustment time for us to catch up with this beautiful bank of consciousness giving us information and how to deliver it and make it accessible and to receive it as human beings in this 3D reality.
Correct.
Having said that, we come to the point of this topic of today, whether we resist or flow. And I've heard a lot of, and thank you for sharing and opening up to the community in regards of your resistance. So how was it for you? And what is your strong insight about your experience? And what would you like to convey to the community to have them process their resistance and overflow?
Well, this was something that I had channeled in sessions to people I was helping. And I was listening to the message I was channeling. It did make a lot of sense when I did it, but I didn't really experience it for myself. It just sounded like a nice concept, but for real, I actually experienced it with this lockdown. My personal resistance was with my human nature. Because what happens is, we still do not understand the mechanics of the mind and how the mind works. But the mind is something we acquire, or the personality and the incarnation we acquire in this 3D reality, and is formed by our families, societies. It's conditioned by our surroundings. And what happened is that there are lots of things about, I would say, my personal upbringing is that expressing negative emotions was frowned upon. You can't be angry, it's a negative energy. You can't be sad, you have to be always happy. You can't be petty, you can't be this, you can't be that. So all the things that we say that are negative were frowned upon. You should be always happy, 24/7. You should never be angry, you should be always pleasing somebody. But that's not real. That's not really real, because we live in duality. We live in a world where we have hot and cold, day and night. We have high and low. So how come in a world where we are surrounded by duality, we suppress the other side of ourselves? And that suppression was causing a lot of resistance, because whenever I felt angry or upset or sad, I was suppressing it, and that was causing resistance. I was judging myself. I was like, oh, you shouldn't be angry, it's for the good of everyone. You shouldn't be angry with the lockdown, you shouldn't be angry with the rules. Okay, I can still be angry, I can follow the rules, I can obey the rules, but I still have the right to feel angry because it's my feeling and I shouldn't judge it. I'm afraid of, let's say, a virus or a disease, and I shouldn't judge myself for the fear, because it's completely natural to be afraid, because my nature is to preserve myself. That fear keeps me safe. Because if I don't have the fear, I'll go around, shake hands, kiss people, and get the bug. How self-protective is that? So the fear is there to protect me. Or the sadness, or any feeling that we label negative plays a function. And I had enough time. That was the other thing about the lockdown. I had enough time to look into these things and stop suppressing them. I said, okay, I'll express my anger, I'll express my sadness, I'll express my fear, because first of all, they're my feelings. They serve a purpose. And when I let them go, I go with the flow. But if I constantly resist them and judge them and dislike them for what they are, I'm not happy. I'm not. But if I express them, I move on. I express my anger now, shout for 5 minutes or whatever I do when I'm angry, and after 5 minutes is over. But if I bottle it up, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it blasts at the least expected moment, the wrong time, the wrong person, the wrong place. Who gains anything from it? No one, especially the person that is feeling those feelings. So embracing my human nature and embracing the feelings I have, or the thoughts I have, without judging them, was my personal way of embracing my humanity and stop the resistance. So once I accepted myself, I was at ease and felt a lot lighter. So all the restrictions imposed on me didn't feel so strong. They're there, obviously, but because I'm not pushing against them with my feelings, it felt like, okay, whatever, we'll do whatever we have to do for the good of everyone. But if I judge myself, then I judge everything around me.
It's actually a very powerful insight that you're sharing with us, and thank you for that, because I may say that it was part of the biggest realization that I had to come across during this lockdown experience, is to observe, as you're saying, my emotions, and because I believe that it's a universal purge that is happening at all levels,
absolutely,
at all times, in all spaces, and so there was all these, hidden windows of selves that, and it was unattended, of emotions that were there, as you were mentioning about the anger and the sadness and so many others. And there's a big trap that happens that spiritual or people that are in this self-empowerment work falls into when they start processing their emotions at an intellectual level that stops them. So the ego self comes to protect them. Oh, okay, I understood it right now, so I'm gonna just deal with it. But dealing with it does not mean not living it. And so when you start allowing these emotions to be, then you're quickly to fix the problem by putting the intellect across the way to answer and try to fix me or to fix it rather than just allowing it to live like Mother Earth, that destroys when it's a stormy weather. It's allowed to be at its extreme self because it's part of the law of the nature. So as we are as human beings, and the more we allow those emotions to be and accept them and love them the way they are meant to be accepted and held, then the intensity of the emotions slows down and become then more in the state of flow, like a wave instead of like a big holocaust of this zigzag with this up and down.
It's all about balance. Yesterday we spoke about balance as well. We cannot have balance if we don't have both. We can't. What balance is that? If you go only in one way and you don't go the other way, that's not balance at some point. It will have to compensate itself, and it's not for the better. And the more we go into this direction, the more extreme the other side is to balance it out, for sure. But there was something else with regards to the flow. As you said, the key word here, we had enough time. Now, the lockdown was not pleasant, and it is pleasant. Okay. When we heal, sometimes the method of healing hurts. But I would say that if we need to heal something, an operation is a major intervention, right? And it hurts a lot, but it has to be done. So the lockdown was painful, and it's probably still painful for a lot of people, but it gave us the time and space to look within us, within ourselves. And there were lots of things about resistance which we could talk about, because obviously having time to be with oneself, not just with our families and whoever we were in that lockdown, but mostly ourselves, because we live with ourselves 24/7. There are lots of things on top of what I just talked about, embracing my human nature, that I had felt resistant to and become very sensitive because I had the time to process it. But mind you, there was a time, as I said in the beginning, when I felt completely numb. It was just like in a dream state. And when I think that was for rest. That was to give ourselves rest, because
and it's like a shield of protection to kind of get the things right at the right moment and prepare you and get ready for it for the rest.
I would say, because I work with the sound and music, when the sound is very loud around, we can't hear ourselves. So now that the sound was completely gone, no noise around us, we could hear our own voice. And some people have not heard this themselves because there's so noisy around. It was so busy. Honestly, the life was absolutely hectic prior to that. Hectic. And when you go into this hectic, manic lifestyle, there is no time for me. There is no time for us, for our immediate families. There is no time for the community around we live in. There was no time for anything because we're just busy, busy, busy. It's noisy. And once we had to sit and calm and relax, we could hear our voice, we could reflect. And it was not just about human nature, it's about lots of things. And this just comes because my senses rested. I didn't have to meet people on a daily basis. I didn't have to have my senses bombarded every hour or half an hour physically. I was just very safe and protected. And this is when that comes. When one is in a hostile environment, people hold themselves to survive it, to go through. But all the hurt and the accumulation of all the damage that is suppressed comes up when it's safe. When the storm is over, or when there is no noise and no busyness, we hold ourselves. But once it's quiet, peaceful, and safe, all of that stuff that needs healing comes up. And then all of a sudden, it's unrelated to here and now, and somebody's bringing, or we bring our own hurt outside. But it's all about that hurt, that damage needs attention, needs love and care and understanding. So apart from my immediate human nature, I had to face regrets, life experiences, things I have done in the past. And I was looking at them and said, so how would I look into this life and feel miserable and feel regrets? Can I change it? No, I cannot change it. And resisting what has happened to me is going to just make me a miserable person because I'm unhappy with what my life has been so far. So do I just scratch it? It's never been there. Then I had enough time to think, well, how about if I look there and see about something positive, about something nice? Okay, I've already established, I've been given lemons. Okay, I've not been given the mangoes, I've been given the lemons. But let me see, I can't change that. What can I do with them? Let's make a lemonade. That's a very popular one that people go around and say. And I look back and I looked at my career choices and my family background and everything I had gone through, felt miserable enough just to sat there in that emotion and said, okay, let's keep
Part of the purge.
yeah, but do I want to stay there for another 40 years? Do I really? What am I going to achieve with that? I'm not going to change it. So sitting there feeling miserable and sorry for myself and regretting it, I won't live in here and now. I won't live in the future. So let's see what I can get out of it. And there was a lot of healing I had to do, and I had to reconcile, accept what it was, embrace it, and get the best of it. So I did realize that yes, it was there. No, I cannot change it, but I can use it. I can use it to understand how other people feel when they go through the same, hold their hands and sit with them in that space when they go through it because I've been there. If I have not done it, would I know how to be compassionate? Would I know how to be empathic? No, I would not know how it feels. How could I be a guide to a place I've never went to? I've never traveled that road. How could I guide somebody on a road I've never traveled myself? So I looked back and I said, okay, so all that makes sense now. That I had this life experiences, apart from completing karmic agreements, that was also realized. So karmic agreements accomplished, lessons have learned. Okay, so I've gone through that path. I know how it feels. I know how difficult it is. So when I have somebody coming and wanting to heal and go through that path of healing, I can really know what it feels like. I can be compassionate and empathic to that person.
It's beautiful. It's like being given a manual to go through yourself so that you can, guide others through the process.
Yes, and it's multi-layered. It's not just that. It's multi-layered, and I had experienced enough. I've lived the life, and I'm not going to not get the best of these experiences. This is why we have them. This is why we have our experiences. And if I could use those life experiences to help and serve, I'm very happy to do so. Very, very happy to do so.
And we all have this ability as we come on earth to unfold and understand, because I think this is a key point, Nellie, that you're pointing out right now, is to change the mindset, the perception of the pain and the suffering from that painful process of it to the learning curve. I'm being given an assignment, and this assignment is there to teach me to overcome, integrate the learning, and get empowered by unleashing my true potential through the process of the learning and those challenges that we attract. And it's all challenges that we are capable of overcoming, and therefore it comes to us. There's a beautiful synchronicity in the process. And once we get this, just this, if you can pose community right here, right now with us, and just integrate this, your life will change. In this particular instant, I remember my path, and I'm still, whenever I, drift away by coming into the little poor me, drama, the 3D, the human
yes,
self,
absolutely, yes,
that catch you, the hook, to that, kind of overview perspective of understanding what's my learning. Wow, how much I'm learning from this experience, and being grateful and thankful for the process?
With regards to my work right here and right now, I wasn't doing a lot prior to lockdown. And there were lots of things that I wanted to do, but they did not happen. One of them was the workshop we had yesterday, but there were many other things that I had plans to do as well, and they just didn't happen. And now, 4 months later, I understand why. Because I cannot go and help anybody unless I fine tune my personal intentions and my personal understanding of who and what I am. And there was much needed deepening of that understanding. It was there, but because of the noise around, I wasn't very clear about that. It wasn't, so there was a lot of noise. And that lockdown helped me really fine tune, shed the light on, be conscious about it. All the words mindful, aware, conscious, connected, they have completely different meaning now. And I'm far more present within myself, far more centered, grounded, connected to all the levels that I could possibly be connected to, because I've quieted that those resentments, the resistance. That's why we're speaking right now, because this is a big thing. Now, I do know I can point out here, there's somebody that sent a message. How could people cope up or overcome with the emerging challenges that we're facing worldwide? Should we resist or go with the flow? Well, from the conversation so far, we already established that it's very normal and natural to resist. Do not resist the resistance, because it's a double negative and double resistance. Are we here? Are we online?
This, go on, Nelly. I'll try to
Okay.
troubleshoot.
So do not try to resist the resistance. Just embrace the fact that you are not happy. Embrace the fact that you do not like what is going on. There is nothing wrong in feeling the way you feel, and do not delude yourself